The X-Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X-Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X-Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 6 a.m. Eastern on the Talkstar Radio Network, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, UK High Definition Radio, Euro High Definition Radio, Star Cable, and our growing family of broadcast affiliates right across Canada, the United States, Central America, the Caribbean, South America, the Pacific Rim, Asia, India, Africa, and Europe. Worldwide toll-free, 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. Over the last couple of days, X-Zone Nation, as you well know, whether you're on our mailing list or whether you're a frequent listener to the show, whether you go to our iTunes download at Apple iTunes, or if you go to the X-Zone podcast, you're seeing Beware of Publish America all over the place. I've got to tell you something. The stories that I am getting on a daily basis, they just boggle my mind. I find it unbelievable that with what is going on, the amount of people who have had horrific nightmares, but I'm not talking about sleeping nightmares, live living nightmares because of Publish America. And yet, here's the ironic part. The problems go way back to 2005, and yet they're still in business. People have made reports to the Better Business Bureau in Maryland because this company is based in Maryland. People have made complaints to the Attorney General's office, the FBI, local law enforcement, local consumer, and federal consumer groups. And nothing is done. We've heard of strong-arm tactics by Publish America. We've heard of email campaigns allegedly from staff at Publish America. These people who put their faith, their trust, their dreams, their desires into Publish America are being destroyed. They're being battered. They are getting their rights ripped away from them. They are being prevented from publishing their own works. We've heard stories about fraud, royalty theft. We've heard stories on violation of international copyright laws. And yet, this company is still around. We have asked for interviews on air. We have asked for statements from Publish America that we could read on air if they don't want to join us for one reason or another. And we have received absolutely no response to our inquiries. What are they hiding? What is the story behind Publish America? When I come back from this 2-minute commercial break, we're going to be speaking to a young lady who firsthand will tell you about the living nightmare that she is living because of the people at Publish America. www.bewareofpublishamerica.com. We have over 195 articles that we have found on the internet that have been submitted to us by people who have been ripped off. I'll be back on the other side of this 2-minute commercial break with my first guest tonight. Paula Commerford is going to be joining us, talking about her nightmare with Publish America. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. But whatever you do, don't rip off the good people who listen to this show and the good people who put their faith, their heart, their hard work into your hands just for you to rip them off. I don't stand for that. I'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
Paperback writer. Sir, oh madam, will you read my book? It took me years to write. Will you take a look? It's based on a novel by a man named Lear, and I need a job, so I want to be a paperback writer. Paperback writer. It's a dirty story of a dirty man, and his clinging wife doesn't understand. His son is working for the Daily Mail. It's a steady job, but he wants to be a paperback writer. Paperback writer. Paperback writer.
And welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our studios in beautiful, yet very cold, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And once again, if you're just joining us for the first time this year after being off the last couple of days, to you and yours, a very, very happy, spiritually filled, love-filled, joyous, and healthy and prosperous new year from everyone here at the X Zone Radio Show, the X Zone TV Show, the X Chronicles newspaper, and all the companies of Relmar McConnell Media Company. X Zone Nation, as you have been listening to me over the last couple of days talking about a company called Publish America, they are, well, we don't really understand what they are, but we do know one thing. They're ripping people off. It's that plain. It's that simple. You know, we talk about allegations. We talk about the what-if factor. But when a company does not respond to the Better Business Bureau, and when a company sends horrific emails to people who have entrusted them with their dreams, their aspirations. Let me put it to you this way. Just imagine you have written a book. It's taken you years. You've poured your heart into this book. You've gone the regular traditional publishing route, and you're kind of getting really depressed because all you keep on getting are rejection letters. It's not that your book is bad. It's just that you haven't found that niche yet. You hear of a company called Publish America. You go online to their website and Publish America. These people want to publish Americans, right? So you submit your manuscript, and lo and behold, one day you go to your email box and they are proud to tell you that you are going to have your book published. They are going to publish your book. And you know what, X Zone Nation? It's not going to cost you one penny. Filled with pride, filled with excitement, you get on that phone and you just tell everyone you know that you are going to be a published author. You get on the emails, you get on the BBMs, you get on whatever social media you use. You're proud. But all that glitters is not gold. Joining me now, X Zone Nation, is a young lady who's going to tell us firsthand about her nightmare with Publish America. And we have on bewareofpublishamerica.com over 195 articles on this company. We're inviting you to go there and make up your own mind. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm not a biased person, but this company has pissed me off. This company is ripping people off. This company is depriving people of their dreams. And in my book, you just don't do that. Donna Commerford, welcome to the X Zone. Paula Commerford. Paula, tell us about, first of all, a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm retired. I'm 66 years old. I live in rural Minnesota, in between the turkey barns and the cornfields.
Oh, right, my kind of lady.
I've lived here for quite a few years, and I've grown accustomed to it.
What was your inspiration into becoming an author, and what was your book about? What is your book about, I should say?
My first book, what it was, is about 30 years ago. My parents were in child evangelism, and they traveled all over California, Oregon, and Washington State doing vacation Bible schools with marionettes. And so in the summertime, I would load up my kids in my camper and my sister and her kids, and we would follow them. And in the process, I started writing stories for the marionettes, and I started writing songs. And just this in 2011, I thought, why don't I take those songs and make them into books?
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I started with the one that I didn't like first, My Garden and Me, and sent it off to Publish America. And, of course, they accepted it right off the bat.
Now, let me just stop you here, okay? Because I want you to tell our audience firsthand what it felt like when you got that letter stating that they were going to publish your book.
Well, I was in a state of shock because I didn't believe the book was that good. That was why I sent My Garden and Me, because it wasn't one of my favorites. And so I was quite surprised when it was accepted. No questions asked. And I thought, well, wow, maybe it is as good. Maybe it is better than what I think,
Yes.
And and I was just, I thought, okay. And everything was going smooth with that book. I wasn't too pleased with the cover.
Yeah.
And they had missed, when I had to do the editing, they had missed the whole complete punchline in the very end of the book.
My gosh.
So I had to get a hold of them right away, because without that last line in the book was meaningless.
Now, how many...
And, but they took care of that.
Well, that's good.
Right away.
Well, that's good.
And said, okay, so that was going so well, I asked them if they would be interested in some more, because I had 14 books, children's books, sitting here done. So I had a series called Harry Toad.
Harry Toad?
Yeah, it's about a little mouse walking through the woods, and he runs into a hairy toad, and they sit down and have a little conversation, and the little mouse ends up eating part of the toad's dinner, which was flies, and he got sick. So it's just for little children.
Sure.
What it is. So I sent that in, and they accepted it too right away. I thought, wow. So My Garden and Me came out in May of 2011. And then Harry Toad came out in June. And so I thought, okay, I have a series of Harry Toads. Maybe I should send in Harry's Haircut and Harry's Shoe Fly Pie and see if they want to do a series. Of course, they said yes.
Now, between the time you sent the manuscripts in to the time that you received a reply saying yes, are we talking weeks? Are we talking months? Are we talking days?
We're talking days.
Really? Wow.
Because from May to July, I had 4 books under contract.
Now,
but what happened was My Garden and Me had been on the market for a month. Harry Toad had been on the market for 3 days. And up to this point, everything was fine. But then I got an email, and it said, your books are not selling. And I went, what? Well, they haven't been on the market long enough.
Yeah.
You know? And they said, well, in order for us to continue, you are going to have to buy 49 of your own books.
And how much?
To offset our printing costs.
Now, first of all, how much was your book being sold for by PublishAmerica?
$24.99.
All right, $24.99. And as the author, how much were they expecting you to pay for those 49 books?
You get a 20% discount as an author.
So let's see, about $19 a book?
Uh-huh. Right.
So 19 times 50, let's say. That's a good chunk of change.
I know. And I couldn't afford that.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of like the first red flag.
Yes.
And not too long after that is when they sent the special promo for Edinburgh International Book Fest in Scotland.
Is this where it ties into J.R. Rowling?
No, that was afterwards.
That was afterwards?
Right.
Oh.
Edinburgh was first.
All right, let's...
So I did some research, and I got a hold of the executive manager of the Edinburgh Book Fest, and her name is Frances.
Yes.
And I sent her a copy of the promo. Well, you know what hit the fan?
I can only imagine.
Because PublishAmerica was not going to be at the fest. PublishAmerica would have to have a special invite, which they did not have. So Francis's attorneys from Scotland sent them a cease and desist letter.
Yes, of course.
Now, right after that, I got a promo, a special promo for Disney in Hollywood.
Right.
So I sent that promo off to the proper people.
At Disney.
And, you know what hit the fan again.
Again?
And they sent a cease and desist letter to PublishAmerica also. So before this could even get over with, we got the one for J.K. Rowling.
And of course, I don't think there's anybody on this planet who doesn't know who J.K. Rowling is. We're talking about the lady behind Harry Potter.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I looked up her manager, and I sent them a copy of the promo right away. Well, you know what happened with that.
The same thing that happened with Disney and the book fair in Edinburgh. It hit the fan. And of course...
And the Scotland National Library, and of course everything that I sent to Frances that I didn't have a contact for over there, she would go ahead and send it to the proper people.
You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour, Paula. Please stand by. It's great talking to you. Thank you very much for sharing your story with us. Exo Nation, Paula Commerford is our special guest. We're talking about... do I have to mention their name, Craig? All right. PublishAmerica. Hey, you want to find out the real story of PublishAmerica? Visit our website that we put up, www.bewareofpublishamerica.com. Paula Commerford and I will be back on the other side of the news as the X Zone continues right here from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My name is Rob McConnell. Don't go away.
It's a steady job, but he wants to be a paperback writer. Paperback writer.
My name is Michael Telstar, Canada's leading mentalist from Toronto, Ontario.
Hi, my name is Splinza, and you're listening to my dad, Rob McConnell, on the X Zone.
This is Psychic Dorothy from St. Catharines, and you're listening to Rob McConnell. Hello, my name is Holly Reeves, an astrologer from Astro For You, and you're listening to Canada's #1 paranormal radio show, The X Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Welcome to The X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
I wonder, who wrote the book of love? Tell me, who wrote the book of love? I've got to know the answer. Was it someone from above? I wonder, who wrote the book of love?
1-800-610-7035, worldwide toll free. Email xzone at TV.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv at hotmail.com. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. Paula Commerford is our special guest. We're talking about her nightmare. I guess that's being polite. When dealing with Publish America, and if you'd like to find out what we found out about Publish America, visit our website at www.publishamerica. Bewareofpublishamerica.com. God, I nearly gave them a free plug. www.bewareofamericapublish.com. Paula, all right, so the you-know-what hit the fan with, let me see, Edinburgh. It hit the fan with Disney. It hit the fan with the people of the Harry Potter group.
And Graph Expo.
My Lord, it goes on.
And Christian Booksellers Association.
All right, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. How have they been able to stay afloat? How have they been able to get away with what they're getting away with?
They have a CD lawyer.
All right, but they have a CD lawyer, but what about the governmental agencies? What about law enforcement? What about the Attorney General? What about the FBI, Homeland? There's got to be something here that can be done to shut these people down.
There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of complaints have been filed in Maryland. Maryland does nothing. I was online the other day on consumer alerts, and they had a big alert of a fraud, a scam with some kind of a medical company in Maryland. And the Better Business Bureau was investigating it. And I emailed them, and I said, how can you do this? You're not paying any attention to Publish America.
And what did they say?
They never answered me.
What are some of the... Now, I understand that some people who are trying to get back the rights to their books, because apparently they have, you sign a 7-year contract with Publish America, they send you $1, and, and that ties you in for 7 years. And some people who have actually had the light turn on have tried to get their rights back to publish their own book, and they don't have very good luck.
No, after was this J.K. Rowling thing, I decided to build a website. And so that maybe there was something that I could do.
Right.
And so since summer, and now I've gotten 5 authors out of their contracts. And 4 out of those 5 are now helping me with others. I was getting a request for a contract release maybe 1 or 2 a month. And now I'm getting 4 to 5 a week.
Let me ask you this. Hypothetically, how many people do you imagine that are still in the clutches of Publish America that would love to get away from them?
Well, they say they have anywhere from 30,000 to 60,000 authors right now under contract. And I don't believe that. But if it's 30,000, say, I would believe that more than half want out of their contracts.
I understand that Publish America, it seems to be less than professional when it comes to dealing with their authors. That I've read some of the emails online, and they treat their authors like crap.
Well, yes, and one of the things that they've done since the J.K. Rowling thing hit is they've added disclaimers to their promos, which they never had before. And another thing is that there's no way to contact them. Where they had 17 email addresses where you could contact them at any time, that shut completely down. They all come back as failures. So the only way that you can get a hold of Publish America is by using a special form. And over half of those requests, comments, questions are deleted.
All right, so you've got all these authors. You've got them basically being the sole source of revenue for Publish America.
Right.
So you as an author who have all this hard work, you've published, you've written your book, you've gone through the pains of, I'm sure many authors have received rejection letters from other publishing houses. They go to Publish America. Yeah. Publish America says, sure, come on. Yeah, we love your book. We're going to publish you. Here's your $1. Sign the 7-year contract. And then a little later...
And the contract has been changed now. It's no longer 7 years. It's 10 years. They sent out a new contract form about 2 months ago, and it's been changed to 10 years.
To 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But what do they do for you?
They didn't do much for me. Thank goodness. They were so mad at me. They had access to my website, of course, that they canceled my contracts in July, all 4 of them.
All right, so you're one of the lucky ones.
I was lucky.
Yeah. So how would somebody...
But these other authors, they can't... They're doing everything. I sit down and I almost cry because I know how they feel and I know what's been done to them. And my hands are tied more and more every day. The things that I could do to get them out of their contract in the summertime, it went fairly fast and fairly easy. But now, see, it's getting harder and harder because there's no communication. They're getting nastier and nastier. I have got a vet in Texas. He writes books for vets.
Right.
His name is Tom, and he travels all over the United States in his RV with his wife for special doings for veterans. And he's under contract with Publish America, and we've been trying to get him out for 3 months. And he has legitimate complaints. They put ads in his books that are not even, that are for somebody else's books. A few of the books that he purchased had the right cover and the right author, but the inside of the book was somebody else's work.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Oh, my Lord.
And it's just, it goes on and on. One lady, Kathy, who got out of her contract last summer, she's helping me. She threatened to go right to their office with official papers to get out of her contract. And they canceled her contract. So we thought, well, we'll use that tactic. Maybe that'll work again, but it won't. Now I've got another lady that has done the same thing, and they've told her that the doors will be locked.
Right.
She will not gain access, and if she shows up on the property, they will have a police escort her off.
Tell me something. What kind of marketing does Publish America do for its authors?
Well, they say they did put my book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, a few others, and they were there.
Right.
Who's going to buy them for that kind of a price? A 20-page children's book for, $24.99. I don't think so.
No,
that's outrageous.
Does the author have any control in the marketing, the marketability of where they put the book? None.
No, it's written right on the contract that the publisher sets the price.
Now tell me something here. Maybe you can help me understand this. Are they a publishing house or are they a vanity press, print-on-demand outfit?
I'm not sure exactly what that means.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I have discovered. They did have printing companies work for them in the past.
Right.
Lightning Source, I believe, was one of them. And they were in quite a legal battle. And so from what I understand now, they have a little back room. And they have their own printing press. And so none of the books that that are on the market are stocked on any shelves. You go to a Barnes & Noble bookstore right now, there will be nothing stocked on their shelves from Publish America.
How come?
Because they won't put them there.
Publish America won't put them there, or the
Publish
bookstore?
America would love to have them there, but Barnes & Noble won't do it.
Why not?
You can order the book, and then they send the order to Publish America, and then Publish America goes in their little back room, and they print it. And then they send it to Barnes & Noble, and then you get it.
You know, but you go into Barnes & Noble and you see all these massive display of books, just like Chapters up here in Canada. Why won't Chapters or Barnes & Noble or any other bookstore actually take the books that are printed by Publish America?
Well, there's something in there about a no-return policy if they don't sell.
Ooh. So this way here, if the bookstore was to buy, let's say, 10 copies, none sold, the bookstore would be out the 10 copies because Publish America doesn't take anything back.
Right.
I gotcha. Understand. Out. Well, you know, you really can't blame the bookstore for that, can you?
No.
No.
And the other thing that's really odd is that when I received my cancellation on my contract, it states on there that they will not have any in print, will have not any in stock, that everything has been destroyed.
Yeah.
And, so that was in July. And now I find myself on the internet under Google search, and I find both my books listed everywhere for sale.
But who's publishing those books that are for sale that you have the rights for?
I don't know. You order them.
Yeah.
Whoever the online bookstore is, they send the order to Publish America. Publish America prints it and sends it out. And I know this for sure.
But that, since you've been released from your contract, that's a blatant violation of international copyright law.
Yes, it is. And I found them on sale in Australia, in Korea, in Holland.
Now,
Italy?
Isn't violation of copyright law under the jurisdiction of the Federal Bureau of Investigation?
Right.
What is the FBI doing?
They have all been contacted.
And what are they saying? What are they doing?
Nothing.
Hypothetically, once again, maybe you can help me here to understand. What do you believe, or what have you heard from the authors who have contacted you? And God bless you for the great work you're doing to help so many other people. My hat is off to you, Paula.
Oh, thank you.
How much do you think the average author is losing to Publish America?
Well, they're not receiving any royalties. That's for sure. And my books could be selling everywhere abroad, and there's no way that I can find out how many are sold or have been sold. You know, I called Barnes & Noble and I called Amazon, and I said, please, these books are no longer under contract. Take them off your online bookstore. They said they could not do that. The publisher had to take them off. So I contact Publish America and say, I want these books off these online bookstores. And their reply is, well, we can't do that.
But wait a minute. They can't do that. They've released the book back to you. They're in violation of copyright. They're in violation of a federal and international law.
I know.
This is ludicrous.
And the attorneys, they won't touch it. I have an attorney in Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
That since May, I have been sending him every single promo copy. I've everything. He's got a stack like you wouldn't believe. And also, the same thing I send to Frederick's News Post in Maryland, because the editor called me and asked me to. He assigned me an investigative reporter so she could put together some promo fraud.
Right.
And they're still working on that. And it's been months. So I am beginning to wonder if PA doesn't have a few people in their back pockets.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. You and I have to take our final break, Paula. When we come back, let's talk about some of the emails that, yeah, you know where I'm going with this, that are allegedly coming from Publish America. Not just Publish America, but their lawyer. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone. Paula Commerford is our very special guest. Once again, Paula, God bless you for the great work you're doing to help so many people out.
Oh, thank you.
Paula and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X-Zone continues talking about Publish America. Don't forget www.bewareofpublishamerica.com. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone. Paula and I will be back on the other side of this break. Whatever you do, if you have to go away, back in 4 minutes.
Just like an old-time movie about a ghost from a wishing well, in a castle dark or a fortress strong with chains upon my feet. You know that ghost is me, and I will never be set free.
Exonation, Paula Commerford is our special guest. We're talking about her nightmare with Publish America, and just not Paula. I'm telling you, we get emails every day from people who have suffered at the hands of this company, people who have not received their royalties, people who, have signed a contract. Publish America is doing nothing with them and with their books, and yet they refuse to release them from their contracts. And when they persist, they start getting strange emails. And Paula, I understand you've received a couple of these strange emails yourself.
Oh, yes. The first few that I got were just, this is considered harassment, and we have taken people to court for this, and you could lose your home, you could, on, and I didn't pay any attention to them. And then all of a sudden, this was not on spam, this was in my e-box, I got 3 emails. They were forwarded to me from Craigslist with Victor Cotrella's email address on it, who is the in-house attorney for Publish America. And at first, I thought, I couldn't believe it. I thought, no, this can't be. And when I got the 3 in a row, I'm going, I just couldn't believe it. I just could not believe it. So the first thing I did was I emailed Publish America, and I said, I have received these porn emails.
Now, they were pornographic emails that were sent to you, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And from Victor Cotrella's email address, I want an explanation. And they emailed me back and said, you're lying. If emails like that do exist, you created them.
Okay.
And I thought, okay. And I emailed them back. I said, you dare to call me a liar? Well, then I contacted an attorney, and I asked him if there was anything that we could do about this. it's internet fraud is what I consider it. And he said, no, we would have to prove without a shadow of a doubt that Victor did send those emails. And in order to take it to court, I would have to have like $20,000.
Ouch. Ouch. So not only is Published America making money off the authors, but apparently the legal system is as well.
Uh-huh. So then I thought, okay, fine, I'm just going to keep going with the promo fraud. I can handle that. And then I got an email from someone else that had received porn emails from the same person.
Paula, I hate to do this to you, but we've run out of time for tonight. I'd love to have you back on next week, if that works with your schedule, to continue this, because this is a story that has to be totally exposed. Paula, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great pleasure talking to you. And once again, it's great to talk to somebody who likes to be part of a solution instead of part of the problem. So God bless you for that.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Rob.
Quickly, Paula, is there a website our listeners can go to find out more?
Well, you just put in Paula Commerford / Publish America, and my name will come up.
All right, Paula, take care of yourself, dear. Nice talking to you, Exo Nation, Paula Commerford. And don't forget our website, bewareofpublishamerica.com. I'll be back after the news at 6.5 minutes past. Don't go away.